Here are some of the strategies I want to cover around how you can leverage all that data to drive better results from PPC automation. So the first way, and Aaron talked about smart bidding, I think Google said that around 70% of their advertisers are using smart bidding in some capacity. So if you're one of those, or you're looking to get into it, and calls are an important conversion for you, getting that data nuanced into not just the total calls driven by your keywords, but the quality of those calls, the outcomes of those calls, the value of those calls, and putting that data into Google Ads so that their smart bidding algorithm can factor that data into their bidding optimization. So, for example, a common strategy for Google Smart Bidding would be to just drive the most conversions regardless of their value. So if all conversions are equal to you, you don't have higher priced or lower priced services, you just want to have the smart bidding algorithm drive conversions online or over the phone. You've got this data in there. You can separate the bad calls from the good calls, and Google can optimize based on that for target CPA or the maximize conversion strategy. If you want to have Google optimize based on the value of the conversions, not just the volume of actual conversions, the lead score data, the actual conversions from calls that are in here can help them do that. So target ROAS is one of those strategies, for example, or they have maximize conversion value, another strategy that you can select on in order to, and use this data to drive better outcomes from your smart bidding strategies. You can also use caller data and the conversations that happened on those phone calls to bucket your callers into the right audiences for Google, for remarketing or lookalike audience or so forth. So, in our case, DialogTech can put all those KPIs that you care about. Is it a new caller? Did it convert? Is it a sales lead? Did it convert? Whatever, or did it not convert? Whatever that data is you want into Google Analytics, for example. And if you're building your audiences for Google Ads off of Google Analytics, you can include that caller data there. Or because we capture the caller ID of the person, you can use, you can build audiences off of caller IDs, your custom audiences into Google Ads. So for example, here, let's say somebody called your call center or your location. They're a good lead, but they didn't actually go on to book an appointment or make a purchase. You can then retarget them with a specific campaign, with a specific offer, bid more for them because they're good leads and you want your ads to show. If you have things you can do to cross-sell or upsell people who called and booked, you can put those callers into specific audiences as well. You can put your good callers into your lookalike audiences and show them so you can expand your reach and target people who have never been to your site, but who have all the signals of being a good person who's called based on your list of good callers. Or you can suppress people. If someone's called and bought something from you or booked an appointment, or they called and canceled an appointment, or they called and they're not a good sales lead, suppress them. Don't waste money showing them ads anymore. And these audiences can also be factored into your smart bidding. So if you have these audiences that live within Google Ads or Google Analytics and get passed over, Google Ads can take audiences into account when it's doing its smart bidding optimizations as well. So in terms of automation strategies, you can also use these audiences or use the if function in Google Ads. So the if function, a lot of advertisers have multiple audiences within a campaign. The if function allows you to show different messaging to those audiences within your ad campaign automatically. Google will automate messaging based on, who those people are. So in this example, if you've got phone leads that didn't convert, you can just say if there's someone in this audience who runs a search, I want my text to say call back now for 20% off, a special offer. Or if they're not part of these phone leads audience, you can just have your usual get your free estimate today call to action. You can also do this for devices. So, if you want to have special messaging for your mobile devices about call now, you can do that here, or you can do it for, if your desktops, you don't want a call now message, you can do that with the if function. Pretty cool stuff. Aaron touched on dynamic search ads briefly, but if you're doing dynamic search ads, they basically look at your site and they pull out the keywords, the headlines, the landing pages based on the content there, and they do some of that automation and messaging and bidding for you based on that. So one thing you can do is you can tell Google what URLs, what landing pages or web pages on your site that you actually want to use for dynamic search ads. And if you can do that by taking into account the call data. So for example, you can see that these web pages are driving a high volume of good calls that converted. Let's use those in your dynamic search ads versus these web pages are not driving any calls or conversions at all. Let's not use those and send people to those pages. You can also optimize for the interactions driving the most valuable calls. So calls are driven by, from paid search at least, from call extensions, from call-only ads, which are now called call ads, or from calls that go on, for people who go onto your web page and call. So you can see here by looking at the data on the left, look at your campaigns, look at what interactions are driving calls and valuable calls, and then make decisions whether or not you want to do some bid adjustments to show your call extensions more often, whether you want to eliminate your pay on call-only ads, or you just want to have people go to your web pages first because that's what drives the highest volume of calls that convert to appointments, opportunities, and customers. You can also put your call data into your bid management tools, whichever ones you're using now. And by having that call data in there, the bid management tool can automatically optimize for the keywords driving not just the best online conversions, but the best call conversions as well. At Terminex, a customer of ours and an Aaron's company, Tenuity, Tenuity helped them do this. They were driving, by putting that call data from DialogTech into their bid management platform, they were able to drive some pretty cool and impressive optimization results.